Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel, and this is the 24th of January 1981 review. Year I was born. Of course, I wasn't born quite here. I was born in September of same year, so months before I was born. This is the program for that, and again, we are going through these episodically. We've got about 60 more, maybe a little bit less, in the All-Star Wrestling Series. Then I've decided I'm gonna go and do the Mid-Atlantic Series next, and then we'll see where we go from there. But anyhow, this is the 24th of January 1981, hosted by Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson. Includes Moondogs versus Dominic DeNucci and Rick McGraw, a match from 131-81 Championship Wrestling. Again, I do not understand why they do these runs here. Ultimately, it just doesn't make sense to my brain that you have that sort of situation. And so kind of just an interesting run there, and getting into a nature of moving forward and basis of simplicity there. Anyway, so we see Dominic DeNucci and his partner there. DeNucci, obviously more so a tag team guy, has had several partners against the Moondogs over the last little while. Moondogs, Rex, and King are your predominant heels here. Lou Albano managing to kind of get it very clear that he expects them to be at some level the tag team champions. He continues to say this throughout. Really basic match in the punch, kick, choke mentality. Basic in that that simplicity is almost, I guess I would say, a good thing for that benefit. And again, we kind of get to a harder shot. And again, kind of roll-ups. Basic things there. Nothing of a shorter fall. And again, the Moondogs manage to get the splash, take their opponent out, and relative simplicity here. Then we move on to the next in the series. Although Bob Backlund tries to help up DeNucci's partner, Backlund basically says the Moondogs have gone too far. Many people have gone too far. Backlund also wants to be a continued fighting champion. Of course, by this point, he is in year number almost 3. Just short of 3 years as champion at this point. Backlund kind of getting into maybe the idea of becoming a force in the tag team division just for the sake of getting rid of the Moondogs. Anyway, we jump forward into Rick McGraw. Into Pedro Morales defeating Ron Shaw via submission 506 with the Boston Crab. After Patterson interviews Morales at ringside. Basically, in short form, that interview is all about the temper of Morales, the desire to get rid of a guy like Stan Hansen, the joy of being the Intercontinental Champion over the past couple of months, and that is the crux of the interview. As far as the match itself, Shaw is a bigger guy who has started to become a little more impactful, has started to become a little more meaningful there, and Shaw goes to the outside. Needless to say that in simplest form, Pedro kind of going a little in a direction that is there and not valued. Hard shots by Morales, and we'll see where those punch kicks from Morales end up coming from. His roll-ups, and again the quick victory. He is happy being the Intercontinental Champion. Pat Patterson is happy for him. They continually come back to Morales' temper as a source of consternation. And then we go into the next in the series of matches. SD Jones returning to the area at the time. SD Jones defeats Johnny Ross 734 after running his head into the exposed top turnbuckle. Not exactly a babyface move, but SD Jones coming back as a babyface anyway. Maybe a little bit more aggressive, looking to get more control out of things there. But Roz and Jones have gone at it before. Arm bars, arm locks, and hammer locks by Jones. Jones continuing to hold on to the body parts and work him over. Does a good bit of selling. Of course, SD Jones been around since the mid 70s point, and he's around till the late 80s, almost 88, 89. So he's got a good run with the company. I don't know that. I'm sure he works other places and does foreign tours, but as far as national companies, SD Jones primarily with the WWF. Shoulder tackles into the corner, basic stuff, and ultimately a roll up there. Basic things along the way, and hard shots. 3 count as it goes that way. So hopefully, a win with the headbutt by Jones. No, Jones had used other finishers along the way, and it looked like they were trying to give him something more to do. But then we go to another enhancement match. Stan Hansen this time, who is more consistent on the television program by this point, with Fred Blassie against Jim Duggan, 435 with the lariat. Hansen and Duggan years later would be a much different match, but here, one-sided affair for Stan Hansen. Hansen with some chin locks, basic stuff, and eventually the big lariat after Duggan fights up from underneath, gets a couple arm bars, back elbows, and Hansen again wins with the lariat, 435. Hansen has been a force in the last couple of weeks. Potential dissension for Blasty's team because he's got so many guys. Although they mentioned the Hangman, who hasn't been seen in several weeks, maybe even a couple of months, under Blasty's tutelage in a future interview here. Anyway, Hulk Hogan, again, still with Blasty here in 1981. He is the next in the series of individuals that we are supposed to care about. Hogan with Freddie Blasty featuring Angelo Gomez and Steve King, handicap match 304. Pinning both men at the same time after hitting the Hogan hammer clothesline on Gomez and placing him on top of his opponent. No longer is he using the backbreaker. No longer is he using the leg drop, at least not for now. Hogan shrugs his men off pretty easily. Hammer fist and hammer throws on both guys, and eventually Hogan, who is keeping the match relatively slow, does hit that almost lariat-like clothesline for the win there. We'll be back with more right after this.